Installing a standard open fluorescent fixture 3 feet above a Class 1 Division 1 paint booth that is open on the top is not permissible due to the inherent risks associated with flammable vapors and the classification of the environment. A Class 1 Division 1 location, as defined by the National Electrical Code, is an area where ignitable concentrations of flammable gases, vapors, or liquids exist under normal operating conditions, or where ignitable concentrations may exist frequently because of repair or maintenance operations or because of leakage, or where equipment breakdown or faulty operation might release ignitable concentrations of flammable gases, vapors, or liquids, and might also cause simultaneous failure of electrical equipment. In a paint booth environment, especially one that is open on the top, there is a high probability of flammable vapors being present. These vapors released from paints, solvents, and other related materials can easily accumulate and create an explosive atmosphere. A standard open fluorescent fixture is not designed to contain or prevent the ignition of such vapors. The fixture's components, such as the ballast, lamp holders, and wiring connections, can produce arcs, sparks, or high surface temperatures during normal operation or in the event of a malfunction. These ignition sources can easily ignite the flammable vapors present in the Class 1 Division 1 location, leading to a fire or explosion. The primary concern is to eliminate any potential ignition sources from areas where flammable vapors may exist. This is achieved by using equipment specifically designed and certified for use in hazardous locations. Such equipment is constructed to either contain any internal explosions or to prevent the escape of sparks or heat that could ignite the surrounding atmosphere. Fluorescent fixtures intended for Class 1 Division 1 locations are typically explosion-proof. These fixtures are designed with heavy-duty enclosures made of materials like cast aluminum or steel that can withstand internal explosions without rupturing or allowing flames or hot gases to escape. They also feature sealed components to prevent the ingress of flammable vapors. The National Electrical Code Article 500 and subsequent articles address the requirements for electrical equipment in hazardous locations. It specifies the types of equipment permitted in different classes and divisions, as well as the installation methods required to ensure safety. Installing a standard, non-explosion-proof fluorescent fixture in a Class 1 Division 1 location would violate these codes and create a significant safety hazard. The distance of 3 feet above the paint booth does not automatically negate the hazard. Flammable vapors can rise and diffuse over considerable distances, especially in an open environment. The concentration of vapors may still be within the ignitable range at that height, making the use of non-explosion-proof equipment unsafe. Even if the paint booth has ventilation systems, these systems are designed to remove vapors, but they cannot guarantee that the atmosphere above the booth will always be free of ignitable concentrations. Ventilation systems can fail, or their performance can be affected by factors such as air currents or obstructions. Therefore, it is crucial to use equipment rated for the hazardous location regardless of the presence of ventilation. To ensure compliance with safety regulations and to protect against the risk of fire or explosion, only explosion-proof fluorescent fixtures or other lighting systems specifically approved for Class 1 Division 1 locations should be installed in and around the paint booth. These fixtures must be installed according to the manufacturer's instructions and the requirements of the National Electrical Code. Furthermore, regular inspections and maintenance of the lighting system are essential to ensure its continued safe operation. This includes checking for any signs of damage, corrosion, or loose connections, and replacing any components that are not functioning properly. In addition to the lighting fixtures, all other electrical equipment installed in the Class 1 Division 1 location, such as wiring, switches, and receptacles, must also be explosion-proof or intrinsically safe. Intrinsically safe equipment is designed to operate with very low energy levels so that it cannot produce enough heat or sparks to ignite flammable vapors. The selection and installation of electrical equipment for hazardous locations should be performed by qualified personnel who are familiar with the National Electrical Code and other relevant safety standards. These professionals can assess the specific hazards present in the environment and recommend the appropriate equipment and installation methods. It is also important to consult with local authorities having jurisdiction to ensure that all installations comply with local codes and regulations. The consequences of installing non-approved equipment in a Class 1 Division 1 location can be severe, including fire, explosion, property damage, injury, and even death. Therefore, it is essential to prioritize safety and to adhere to all applicable codes and standards. Consider the implications of non-compliance. Firstly, a fire or explosion could cause significant damage to the paint booth and surrounding property, resulting in costly repairs and downtime. Secondly, employees or other individuals in the area could be seriously injured or killed in an explosion. Thirdly, the company could face significant fines and legal penalties for violating safety regulations. In summary, installing a standard open fluorescent fixture 3 feet above a Class 1 Division 1 paint booth that is open on the top is not permitted due to the risk of fire or explosion. Only explosion-proof or intrinsically safe equipment specifically approved for use in hazardous locations should be installed in such environments. Adherence to the National Electrical Code and other relevant safety standards is essential to ensure the safety of personnel and property. The open nature of the paint booth exacerbates the vapor hazard, and the NEC mandates appropriate protection methods in Class 1 Division 1 areas. For clarification on selecting appropriate lighting, consider these points. Explosion-proof fixtures are constructed to contain an explosion within the enclosure and prevent propagation to the surrounding atmosphere. They are typically made of robust materials like cast iron or aluminum and feature threaded or flanged joints with tight seals. Intrinsically safe systems limit the electrical and thermal energy to a level below that required to ignite a specific hazardous atmospheric mixture. This approach often involves using specially designed barriers to restrict voltage and current. Encapsulation involves encasing electrical components in a resin or epoxy compound to prevent contact with the hazardous atmosphere. Pressurization maintains a positive pressure of clean air or inert gas within an enclosure to prevent the entry of flammable vapors or gases. Oil immersion involves submerging electrical components in oil to prevent contact with the hazardous atmosphere. The selection of the appropriate protection method depends on the specific characteristics of the hazardous location, including the type of flammable material present, the frequency and duration of exposure, and the ambient temperature. Consult with a qualified electrical engineer or safety professional to determine the most suitable solution for the application. Remember that the National Electrical Code is the primary source of guidance for electrical installations in hazardous locations. It provides detailed requirements for equipment selection, installation, and maintenance. Regular training and education are essential to ensure that personnel working in hazardous locations are aware of the risks and are competent to perform their duties safely. This includes training on the proper use of electrical equipment, the recognition of potential hazards, and the implementation of emergency procedures. In conclusion, the decision to avoid installing a standard fluorescent fixture above a Class 1 Division 1 paint booth is based on sound engineering principles and regulatory requirements aimed at preventing fires and explosions. Always prioritize safety and consult with qualified professionals to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and standards. This ensures a safe working environment and protects against potential hazards.